We need to start, obviously, with the Phillies. You heard Scott Fransky there. The final call last night, Phillies offense, dead again. They lose 3-1 to the San Francisco Giants. They waste another tremendous outing from one of the starting pitchers, Sanchez. I think maybe a little ticked off. I think that he didn't make the All-Star game last night, Hugh. That looked like an angry pitcher last night.
Yeah, I think they're all a little angry, man. When you look at the contributions that they've been given, they've had some pretty great outings these last couple of weeks. Offense just is still trying to figure out their way, man.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that has been the case lately.
And it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch. Last night, not a ton of base runners, but again, they can't come through with runners in scoring position.
How many innings you make it last night?
I made it 8.5.
You did?
I fell asleep right before they blew it.
Kyle, how many you make?
I'm not going to lie.
I almost made it to the end. I almost made it.
Kyle did not want to admit that he didn't make it, I guess.
I tried.
No, because he was making fun of me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Did you make it?
It was late, man.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I made it like I was just trying to see where y'all were.
Yeah.
I made it to 6.
All right, I made it to 8. But it seems like I fell asleep at the right time right before things went downhill. But if you want to get in, 215-592-9494, 215-592-9494. But, Hugh, the more I watch this team, the more it becomes clear to me that this iteration of the Phillies is not good enough. Like, they're good enough to win a lot of games. They're good enough to go to the playoffs, but they're not good enough to win in the postseason. This team, as it stands, is not good enough to win a World Series. And we talk a lot about, okay, what can they do at the deadline? And a lot of times it's through the lens of minor moves. What can you do to impact the outfield in a little bit of a way? What can you do to slightly improve the bullpen? To me, that's not going to do it. I think this team needs a real shakeup. I think they need a major shakeup. I think they need to make some sort of a drastic move at the trade deadline. And we want to know from you out there today, 215-592-9494. Do you think the Phillies need a major shakeup at the deadline, or can they get by just making minor moves, minor improvements to the outfield, minor improvements to the bullpen? I think they need something major to shake up this team. Where do you fall, Hugh?
First off, I don't believe that to be true. I think they are good enough to win a World Series. I think this is just the ebb and flow of baseball. Now, at risking making baseball fans mad at me, I think that there was a concerted effort last night to try to play small ball. There was an effort there, and it didn't work out that way. But I saw the effort, and I think that they are aware of where they are. You know, Bryce Harper not having the power that he needs right now. This offense not hitting, home runs like they used to. So I feel like this story isn't written yet. So when you say that they're not good enough, they just need to get hot at the right time. They need to, for lack of a better way of saying it, tread water, if you will, and get hot at the right time, because your pitching has been phenomenal. And when you look at the pitching that you had last night, 7 strong innings, that's something that you look at and say, hey, if we can just get this offense going just a little bit, we'll have a shot.
Well, and that's what they need. And you talk about getting hot at the right time, Hugh, and that's something Trea Turner talked about so far as the way the team has played. Here's Trea on the Phillies and how they played so far this season.
I think you have to struggle. And, like you said, we have such high expectations. Sometimes I think we feel like we're failing, and we're really not. But those struggles, I think, are really good for you at the end of the season. So, I've said it a lot this year, and I kind of still believe it. I don't think we've really played our best baseball yet. And I think that's a really good thing to be where we're at, try to get hot those last month and a half, and then go into the postseason playing good baseball. I think so far this year is kind of lined up that way, and we still got, work to do. We got to make it happen. And we got to play good baseball if we want to achieve that. But I think the struggles early on are a really good thing for a club, and we got the veteran guys and the young guys in here to kind of blend together and have a good group. So I like where we're at, but I think the one thing I always say is winning championships are very, very hard. There's only one team that gets to do it. Every year there's probably 6-7 teams that are like, oh, this is their year, and only one of those teams get to do it. So it's very hard, but I think we got the right group.
Well, and first off, I disagree with the perspective of, we haven't played our best baseball yet. That's actually a good thing. That's an interesting way to look at it from Trea Turner. But if I'm being real, I wish I felt that way. But I watch this team every day. I watch this offense every day. I don't feel like they're good enough to win the playoffs. We saw it last year against the Mets. We saw it against Arizona 2 years ago. And I think they know it as an organization, too. Because think back after that series, think about the offseason. And the big story right after the season ended was the Phillies, okay, they're looking for a real shakeup.
Yeah.
They're looking to trade Alec
And
Bohm.
they didn't do it.
They didn't get it done. They weren't able, I guess, to find a deal that they thought made sense for them. But what that tells me, Hugh, is that they know they need something. Like, they know they need to shake it up. They didn't, I guess, by default. But this team, I just watched them, and they remind me so much of the team that got eliminated last year. And if they don't do something drastic, I don't think anything's going to end differently.
Now, I think they do need to make some moves. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this offense hasn't been anemic, but they're trying. And I think that you have the initial pieces to push yourself over the top. But to your point, Alec Bohm last year couldn't trade him. Could not trade him. Couldn't find a trade partner for him. There was a lot of rumors about him not being here. He talked about how grateful he was during the course of the season to be here. But I feel like if you just get enough offense going with the way that this pitching staff is going, and this is the ebb and flow, but right now they're hot. There's no question about that. This pitching staff is hot. I think that you do have enough to win with. And to his point, when you talk about not playing your best baseball, let's use the Eagles as an example and how they played during the course of the year. I don't think that until we got to the end and got into the playoffs that people felt their feelings about them winning the Super Bowl got stronger. And, once they did it, it was like, wow. So I say all that to say that you want to, for lack of a better term, tread water or be, somewhere in the mix and win games until you hit that sweet spot. Because we've seen this team at the end of the season when they didn't hit the sweet spot and the bats went super cold.
Yeah, and we have seen that, and that's what gives me pause about this season, and it's why I feel like they need to do something major. And again, to go back to the Bohm thing, like I think that was real. I think the way the Phillies were looking at shaking up this team, I feel like they came out of that series and the initial reaction. Remember, John Middleton had said something like, "Dave Dombrowski's treating this thing as like the house is on fire. Like we need to do something drastic." And here was Bryce Harper back in the talking about the Alec Bohm situation after last season.
Obviously, they were real. He had a possibility of going somewhere else, and a lot of guys in here, man, including myself, we love that kid over there. He plays the game and plays it hard and understand what it takes, man, and he just needs to not put pressure on himself too much and just have fun, enjoy what he does, and what a big at-bat for him to come through right there.
And like he said there, those Alec Bohm rumors, they were real. And that's the thing. I look at this team. I don't know if trading Bohm is necessarily the answer, but it's got to be something major, whether it's trading somebody from the major league roster, whether it's making a splash and getting just some real difference maker out there. And we'll get to some names that we've kind of thought of here throughout the course of the show. But I just feel like this team needs a jolt. And if we're looking at minor moves, they're the moves here that Dave Dombrowski just hasn't found a way to execute on those minor moves.
Yeah, I mean, it's been unfortunate, but when I look at the baseball standings right now, TK, and I look at some of the teams that are still in the hunt, math is not my thing, but you got a lot of teams that are within 10 games of each other. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that. They're within 10 games of each other. And with that being said, some teams are not going to be willing to give up their pieces. And if they do give up their pieces, they're going to want to fleece you. So you got to ask yourself, when we talk about major moves, how major do you want to go?
I'm paying.
You want to go Andrew Painter major?
I consider it. I consider trading Painter.
Because that's our biggest piece that I can think of. And, when you talk about the players that we have on the roster, Alec Bohm, if you want to try to trade him, we've already seen in offseason that's probably not a big market for him.
Right. And it's just one of these things where I just look at, and again, so much of it comes back to this rotation. And again, you waste another tremendous start from Sanchez last night. I just feel like, what is the saying? Desperate times call for desperate measures. Drastic times call for drastic measures.
That works too.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where we are right now because you can't afford to not go all in on this team. You can't afford to waste this pitching staff. And I feel like we know the result if they don't go do something like that. Does going and making a splash move, does it guarantee anything? Of course not. But I feel like that's really your only chance to win big and win a World Series. Love to get your take on it. 215-592-9494. Kyle Quinn producing the show.
Kyle.
Where do you fall, Kyle? Is Kyle with me, go out, make a splash, make a big move, Or don't tell me we're getting perspective,
Well,
Kyle,
all
again.
right, I'm not going to give you perspective because I agree with the premise that they need to make changes at this trade deadline. But given Dave Dombrowski's track record with making trades, I think it'd be better for them. Like, if you're asking me between making one big impact move here or multiple minor moves where you're trading away some prospects and getting guys that can fit multiple pieces, maybe like another outfielder, another right-handed bat, maybe a bullpen guy or two, as opposed to like what you said with the Alec Boehm thing or like making a big shakeup on the major league roster. I would rather do the smaller moves. Like, it just gives you more of a chance of hitting on one of these guys. Like, what if you do that trade and it doesn't work out for you? Like, then you put all your eggs in this one basket. Like, I would rather have my eggs distributed. Multiple baskets.
But we've tried distributing the eggs and they haven't hatched.
I know, but that's the problem. Like, he's not been a very good trader at the deadline. Like, his moves have kind of sucked. So, like, well, I'll give you, for example, last year they got Austin Hayes and Estevez. What if they just did one big move and it didn't work out? Whereas we got Estevez, who at least helped you out to some degree. Hayes didn't, but they were 1 for 2. I'd rather give myself a chance of going like 1 for 3 than going 0 for 1. What are you laughing at?
Go for the big move, man.
I'm going to fight Max, man. I'm fighting
Why?
Max. Because I'm trying to sneak and put this mint in my mouth
in
the break, and he's zooming in every time. And I know I'm about to get killed in the chat.
First of all, stop putting mints in your mouth while we're on the air.
This is the reason why I'm going to get killed by you people, because they saw that.
You're trying to do mukbang.
I'll tell you.
I'm trying to chew on this mint. And Max is shooting the camera, and I'm trying to take it out my mouth.
I need you to lock in.
I'll tell you what.
Get the mint out of your mouth.
This is like Jack with the pitching, is Hugh with the you people. It's 10-14,
No,
and Hugh's already worried about you people at the end of the show.
Because I'm like, damn it, Max keep cutting to me. I'm trying to get the mint out my mouth, and I'm like, they about to kill me. They about to kill me this morning.
Max is on his game early today. 215-592-9494 if you want to get in. But do you think the Phillies need a big splash, or are you okay with the minor moves? Again, I look at Dave Dombrowski. He hasn't been able to do the minor moves. Dave Dombrowski, when he got here, his reputation was this guy's a big Stones GM.
Big Stones.
Give me that guy.
I remember.
I want the big Stones Dave Dombrowski, not little Stones
No,
Dombrowski.
you know what's funny? I remember when I got here, because I got here around the time that, the Phillies started to go on the run.
Yep.
And he was talking about, it was kind of like the Jermaine Dupri, what's his name? Sean Carter video, Money Ain't a Thing. Jay-Z.
Dave Dombrowski and Jermaine Dupri, I never thought would be compared to each other.
It was like he was talking about money ain't a thing. We're going to spend. And he's kind of held pat. He's kind of held pat, I should say. And I think a lot of people are upset about that. That's why when you look at the phone lines, they're talking about everybody needs to think that they need to make a big splash. Because they really, when you talk about it, as far as the trade deadline is concerned, that has not happened. No big splash at the trade deadline.
No, little Stones.
Wait a minute, who was it, Kyle, that we were talking about getting? What was it, from the Marlins? And he ended up going to the Yankees, but he wasn't a fit.
Jazz Chisholm.
Jazz Chisholm. That's right. My bad. Kyle was on the phone.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. No,
Jazz Chisholm was good for the Yankees.
I know.
But you remember we were talking about a fit guy. He didn't fit the culture.
Yeah.
Maybe because he didn't go to baseball spring training in a minivan or whatever. Maybe that's what it was. He didn't fit the urban energy.
What'd you call it? The suburban energy?
Suburban energy.
Yeah, maybe they need a little bit of a jolt. Maybe you need, you just need something. That's what I'm pleading for, is the Phillies just need something to shake things up. I don't know exactly what it is, but you need to figure something out.
But here's my worry, because the thing about Boehm is, right now, you're not locked into him long term. You're not locked into a few of these guys long term. And I think one of the best things that Dombrowski did this offseason, while everyone craps on it, is that he didn't overcommit to the core, right? It's really Nola, Harper, Turner. And that's, granted, that's a pretty solid commitment. But after that, Castellanos is gone soon. Realmuto's gone soon. Schwarber's gone soon. Boehm, it can be gone soon. Ranger can be gone soon. They have flexibility to make major moves if this doesn't work out this season. So I think it's better for them to try and go, I know nobody wants to hear it, but just make some smaller additions to what this roster is right now. Give them one more chance to put up or shut up. And then if it's shut up, then you can start start really making major moves in the offseason.
And I get that thinking, but the bottom line is this: you have a starting rotation that is the best in baseball right now. Like, you have an historically great rotation right now. Who knows if you're going to have that next year? You're probably not going to have Ranger next year. Who knows what Luzardo is going to look like, what his future is going to be?
You got to strike the iron while the iron's hot.
Exactly. Who knows what Nola's going to be moving forward after this injury? So I just feel like you got to take advantage now, and if you sacrifice a little bit in the future, I'm down to do that, but would love to get your take. Do you want the Phillies to make a big splash, or do you want them to make minor moves at the deadline to try to improve the current roster? I'd make a major splash, and if that does mean trading an Alec Bohm, trading somebody from the Major League roster, that's something I'd look into.